Hi everyone, Sean here. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I used to call it the Sunday wrap or something, but it's Monday afternoon, and I'm getting onto it today because yesterday was a crazy day, busy weekend. I just want to run through briefly the things that I spoke about with some of the coaches last week in a little workshop that we did, and there'll be more of that sort of thing coming, especially with Tamo's involvement. Um, First of all, thanks to everyone for a great start to the year. There's lots of new kids on the court, and everyone, well, nearly everyone has rebooked once having their trial lesson, so that's fantastic. So we're doing something right. That doesn't mean we can't improve what we're doing, and that's what this is about, to try to do the best that we can as a team to deliver the best program possible. Number one, obviously it's super important to arrive early, especially in summer when courts need to be watered. JP is a fantastic example. When he arrives early, he's not just thinking about himself. He's setting up all the courts for everybody and getting all the balls out. And we should show him our appreciation and use that example for ourselves to arrive early. I reckon you should arrive half an hour early when the courts need to be watered, because it really does take a good 15 minutes to water the court properly. The sprinklers do a good job, but not a great job. They don't get all the areas of the court, and it's better to get out there with the hose and do that. It's also, I think, really important to be early enough to get your equipment out for your whole night, so we're not going back and forwards to the shed, and water the court, and give yourself 5 minutes or so just to sit down and prepare yourself for the lessons that you're about to conduct, because that just gives you a bit of quiet time to organize your thoughts and be prepared. I think that's super important. Especially when it comes to new kids coming. Normally we'll let you know there's a new kid starting in your group. If we haven't, they'll certainly be on your list, and you should recognise that there's a new name there, and pay special attention to welcoming those new kids into the program, saying hello to their parents, who will undoubtedly bring them on their first day, introducing yourself, and that way you set a professional standard from the beginning. And I think that's super important for you. It takes a bit of pressure off yourself because you've met them and you've put them at ease. You've made the new kid feel really welcome and happy to enjoy tennis. And don't forget, that is quite possibly their first tennis experience, and how they experience that first lesson will set the tone for how they think and feel about tennis for perhaps forever. So you can have that much impact on a new person when they join the club or join the program. So make sure you make them feel welcome. It really is a super important time. So then, obviously, you really need to know your lesson plan. And it's important, I think, to greet all the kids at the beginning, bring them in, tell them what they're about to do during the lesson, then deliver that lesson plan to the best of your ability, calling out for help if you need it from the supervisor or someone more experienced, or even someone less experienced if you need a hand to help with one of the little players for a moment, and that's okay. And then at the end of the lesson, bring them in and close off the lesson with a little group chat, telling them what they did for that lesson and something that they can remember to take home and think about, and come back to the next lesson knowing and remembering something that they learned. I think that's super important. Error detection and correction is key. So I think, well, I don't really know what other programs are doing out there. I do hear that there's lots of games and things going on, and it's really fun and participation based. Now, we want to have lots of participation in our program too, but fundamentally what Jess and I and Kylie are looking for is improvement, and in particular improvement of the children's ability. So error detection and correction is key to help them improve across time, and understand that the end goal is to progress into our squads. And so we need to have a vision as coaches as what that pathway looks like and what we're trying to develop in the beginning, so that the children develop the skills required to progress indefinitely in tennis. If we get the fundamentals right, then the limit of their improvement is really just their own potential, which we could also say is limitless. If we start them properly and give them the groundings of good technique in the beginning, they can continually improve depending on how much work they're willing to put into it. And that's what we're trying to establish, a real playing culture in our program. So kids are in there for the long haul, parents are in there for the long haul. Explain and educate that tennis takes a lot of practice and it's fun, and we want to get them in and progressing quickly, because I find that if people, even young children, if they learn skills effectively across time, they become self-motivated to want more. They want to improve more, and that's what we want to give them, a love of tennis and a desire to play. So have an overall vision of what we're trying to do. In that term, grips and starting from ready positions are super important. Explain why to the kids. But it's very difficult to produce a good, let's say, a square racket face or topspin if there are fundamental errors in where they're holding their grip or where they're standing and even where they're starting their stroke production from. So I prefer to start the kids even from the beginning in a correct ready position and have them learn to turn, step and hit with the correct grip given whatever shot that they're learning. I think that's something we can all do better. And don't forget the importance of learning the continental grip early, because aside from the forehand and the backhand drive, the continental grip is used for every other shot. So that's a super important grip for them to learn, even in the beginning when it's difficult to learn the continental grip for volleying and so on. Presenting the racket face with a continental grip is super important for them to learn. Obviously also in our young groups or in all the groups, maximum participation is key. You want to keep the kids moving as much as possible. But with that in mind, you also don't want to feel rushed, and we don't want the kids to feel rushed within a lesson. You want to have some time with the 1 or 2 children you're working with at one moment, and 2 kids perhaps waiting and shadowing, and 2 kids picking up. So everyone's got a little role to perform in every moment, and we don't have kids just waiting around looking to cause trouble or to be disruptive. They're all doing something. It takes a bit of experience to learn how to manage that, but if you start practicing it, it'll become much easier. And don't forget, in terms of player development, the value of counting shots, successful shots. Obviously, at the high level, we count 20-ball rallies and 100-ball rallies from the back of the court and so on. But even in the very beginning, you can give kids a little goal of how many out of 10 can you get? Can we get more than 5 over the net? Can we get more than 5 into that target? And you count them and let them go around, have a little competition about it, and breed that that feeling of competitiveness and improvement across time by counting, because it is a form of measurement that you can come back to and the kids can improve across time. And for ourselves, we all need to be students of the game. There's so much information out there now. It's not all good, but there's plenty of good information out there online, even in Instagram videos and so on, that you can continually be thinking about the game and what you might be able to add to your lessons, conversation points you can have with the kids. If you pay attention to tennis when it's on the telly and you listen to the players talk or the coaches talk, you can often pick up some really important bits of information that you can then relay to your students and help them, have a more, I call it professional mentality. I don't care how old they are. We can teach them to want to play tennis if we talk to them in a way that we're excited about. And we can all be that teacher that kids remember in the future that really helped them with something that they were into. And we all remember those teachers that impacted us when we were younger, even older, still impacted by great teachers like Tomo. And so we want to be that teacher for the kids that come into our program, that they remember and they want to stay part of it. Some really big things happened last week. Some of the kids, Aiden and Lewis, Jarrell and Raimi, had some massive success on the court. Jarrell had a 569-ball rally with Grubby, and that's awesome. Raimi hit over 140 balls in a row from the back of the court. That was a goal for her this year. She's hit that goal in March. That's incredible. Aiden and Lewis had a 107-ball rally from the back of the court, 150-plus balls in the mini court. So there are some really good stories of how the kids are starting to develop. It takes time. It's taken a long time, but it's certainly worthwhile. So stick at it. If you guys as coaches have any questions, our numbers, please reach out. We just want to learn together to do the best that we can. Jess has started a new Facebook group specifically for our lesson plans. We've had some feedback that the messenger chat was getting so long, sometimes it's hard to find the relevant information for lesson plans. So we're trying a separate private Facebook group to post our lesson plans on. Give us some feedback in a week or so about how that's going. If you prefer that to be another messenger chat just for lesson plans because the messenger chat's easier for you, let us know and maybe we'll post both, or just choose to go back to a messenger chat just for lesson plans separate from the coaches chat. I think that's it for now. The squad plan for this week will be similar to last week. We'll run different drills. I will put something up later tonight or tomorrow. We will run different drills, but we'll do it in the same format. I think it was very valuable to bring the group in before each drill to bring the group in before each drill, to demonstrate that drill and to talk about the important points for the players and the coaches to go back to their courts and put into practice. So we'll continue with that. And I've had some feedback on that. Some of the coaches and players thought it was great. So it's a little bit slower paced, but like I said before, it's important not to rush, especially at the squad level, at every level. Don't rush, try to get things right, be patient, have fun with it. All right, that's enough for me. I think that's a pretty long one. We'll call it the Monday, I don't know, what is it? It should be the Sunday wrap. It's the Monday wrap. All right, guys, see you on the court.